folding paper is just so nice and relaxing. So we have a teacher who's really into origami, and she's going to come to Maker Club in a couple of weeks and do origami with the kids, and then we're going to add LEDs to it. So I think that'll be really fun.
Awesome. We did that at Lamar, and the sixth graders really loved it. And I just I only had them do one LED. So I think the bookmark thing is fun. Erin actually designed that project.
I love it. It's really cute.
Colleen,
the other project that go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to ask you, Colleen, do you have a favorite project that you've made? And if so, please tell us about it.
I treat projects like boyfriends. And while I'm making the project or while I'm dating the boyfriend, it's my favorite project. I'm really, really into projects as I make them. So like right now, I'm actually working on, G sent me her new Chibitronics, like little programmable board for paper circuit. So this is like a circuit I made today. And then what it's going to do is light up this, so like right now, it's my favorite project, my point, but it's going to light up this E.E. Cummings poem. I get to program it to light it up, and I'm really excited about it because I'm working on it right now. This is my boyfriend right now. Let me think. And then I also since we're doing a makey book right now, I'm a little makey crazy. So I'm going to do if y'all looked in chapter 9, let me see what project number it is. The MIDI paper circuit where you make your own scratch DJ paper. Let's see.
Yes, I know the
Makey paper circuit. Yeah, project 34.
That one caught my eye. I love the music, art, twist, and what you just shared about poetry.
Right.
For those connections to the art. Yeah,
I am really into combining makey and scratch for literacy purposes. So kind of trying to engage the kids that are. I'm really more about making in classes. So I'm kind of I did all the free time maker stuff I could do, and I feel like I will run myself ragged if I continue to do that. But I really like trying to get it in classes because kids get so engaged. So I'd really like to try and talk an English teacher into it, but I have to teach my kids Scratch. So I taught all my freshmen Scratch with the, I think it's 34. I like how I actually am trying to guess the numbers of the projects right now. It's the first coding one in chapter 5. It's like the dodgeball game, which is kind of like Pong. I taught all my freshmen how to play this game. The Getting to Know Scratch. It's project 19. That's actually a really good hour of code project if you guys have someone you need to do hour of code with. But that was one of my favorites too. And then I actually loved when we made our guitars out of old recyclables. I had not used a miter saw before. I didn't use, I am not a power tool kind of gal, right? Usually that's all Aaron's subject with my students. And so we had drills and saws at the library, and it was amazing. I didn't think I could do that. I didn't think I could teach my kids how to do that stuff. So I love that project and the sense that it made me do something I was really, really uncomfortable with, which, I hear that a lot from people, they're very scared to try things. So that was a fun one too.
Colleen, could you back up a little and share about your background and how you fell into the maker movement? Sure.
I'm trying to remember the years. So I started in the library in 2012, 2013 at Lamar Middle School. And I actually just did a whole Learning Commons transformation at that school and started a student-led club to decorate our makerspace, because that was before there was really much going on anywhere about making. And my whole idea was just that it was a place where you could make whatever you want. That was what I thought. Actually, I'm going to screen share a little with you guys because I pulled some articles up. That's the wrong one. I should have pulled up that article. So that first article for Knowledge Quest was about space that we had. And then I realized, it took me a year to realize that if I had all that stuff in that room, kids wouldn't use it. Does that make sense? So, like, I realized, it's all hidden and they don't see it. So I moved everything out into the library, and there's my little take and make. I can send you guys this to your Google Hangouts, right? Yeah. So yeah, I had this little room and a take and make wall, and then I would hold workshops. And I realized pretty quickly that I needed to move everything out into the library. So this is a really long article about my thinking. I'm surprised they let me put that whole article out. Wait. I actually didn't mean to stop screen sharing. And then when I wrote the Makey lessons 2 summers ago, they did a really good interview with me about, like, what my idea was about being a maker librarian and a teacher librarian. They were really confused about that. This was during our Makey challenge at Lamar. So that was actually right before I met Sue. This happened. So in 2015. Let me stop my screen sharing. Is there a Hangout chat? There was a chat window. So then I left Lamar to work at Ryan High School last year. And so this is my second year at this school and my second transformation. And I thought that what I did at this school now, I did very slowly. I thought, I haven't really done as much as I did at Lamar. I did a crazy ton of stuff. And the other day, some people came to visit, and they were like, so how long have you been here, and how long did this take? And I was like, well, this is only the start of my second year. And they said, well, this looks like 5 years of work. So I think that I might have a problem. I think something wrong with me in the sense that I don't know. To me, it was like, I didn't even do that much. I just painted the walls and moved all the books. Moving every book in the library, no big deal, right?
It's a good problem.
I'm never moving all the books in the library again, though. I've done that twice, and I'm done. If I go to another library, the books better be in the right spot. So, and then I guess that same time when I did the Makey challenge in 2015, I was at TCEA, and I was talking to a really amazing librarian, and she was like, I have Makeys, but I don't know what to do with them, so I gave them away. And my heart broke. It's like, oh my gosh, how can you give away such an amazing thing? And another librarian was like, I have a 3D printer, but I put it in the closet. And I was like, why is this happening? So that was when I contacted Dave and Liam at Makey and said, you guys need lesson plans? And they were like, we can pay you for that. Why don't you do it? It's like, okay. I'll write you guys lesson plans. And then those lesson plans kind of led to me writing this book.
That's so cool.
When did you start using Makey? Had you already been using it before you used it in the school?
No. If you go to, actually, let me see if I can pull that one up. On these lessons, this one design challenge, the game controller challenge, that is my intro to Makey myself. I didn't even use the Switch even when we did that. So when we first Skyped with Jay and the whole Makey team, I was like, guys, I'm really confused how you do these stair pianos. How do you do that? I didn't get it. So I had not used it. I think I saw one in 2014. I saw this epic video.
Bananas.
Turns out the banana, yeah. It actually turns out it's a video with Jay's brother that I just found that out recently. I didn't know that. But this guy does this really amazing banana. It's called a bananamophone. I'm going to try to Google it. And I was like, I got to get one of those. But I refused to buy one. I was like, I bought too many things for people, for the library. I'm not going to buy it myself. I have to get a grant. It's only $50. Why didn't I just buy it? And then, so my first Makey I used, I actually almost think there's a video on my desktop, but I'm not going to look that up. The first time I used one was at a training with other people, at a makerspace training with other librarians. That I was leading the training, but I was teaching people about code.org and Scratch.
Cool.
That was a really long explanation.
So you're writing a book on using the Makey right now?
Yes, we're doing 20 projects for Makey, and they're the Evil Genius. It's an Evil Genius book. So they're all really crazy.
So we just did an activity. Leslie hosted the Massachusetts Art Educators Association, and we learned about a project that was being done by an elementary art teacher where she was making bristlebots and drawbot paintings together, and referring to Jackson Pollock in that effort. So we had a complimentary Makey activity, which was about Renaissance art. So we were using Renaissance fruit bowl fruit, so lush red pears, pomegranates and stuff like that for identifying what's conductive and what's not conductive. But we hooked it up to the Makey pen and tried to get people to think about different ways to draw using Makey and the fruit and linking it to their art observations.
That's cool.
People got a little lost who hadn't done it before, but it was a lot of fun. Conceptually, they really got inspired.
Yeah, the Makey poetry gets like that if someone hasn't used Scratch. That's too hard. So, they have to have had some Scratch experience to really do that. My students are fine with it, and they're not great at Scratch, but adults that try to do it can't.
Yeah, they get a little flummoxed. But yeah. I'm curious. There was a fellow that we met a few years ago at a Scratch conference who was using Makey as an AAC device. So are you thinking about going down that path? Adding a little soundbite about that?
As a what?
An AAC device. So
what is that?
Alternative and augmentative communication.
Oh, okay.
So for students that are nonverbal, you can use the Scratch files as voice files for students. And a lot of times there are touch points. How the interaction is set up can be complicated, but because of the flexibility with Makey, you can mess around with the shape of your Play-Doh to see if that'll work, or reconstruct how the tinfoil is mapped out, or use other configurations and change it on the fly and not have to worry about whether you have an OT and a speech pathology specialist there to see if it's all going to come together.
That sounds cool. I think because I've been in middle school and high school, I don't ever have as much experience with those type of kids, so I'm sad to say I don't really get inspired to try things like that because I don't really have that much experience with students like that.
Well, we might be able to get you. I could reach out to him if you want to see if there's room for a brief chapter on alternative access strategies for some kids.
Okay. It's not really. This book is not really a classroom book.
Oh, okay. Maybe all the more reason to really test the boundaries, because families get so bogged down in the medical insurance process.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a
I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
Your library always looks so busy on Instagram with stuff in the makerspace. How do you manage? What's your strategy for managing all the different things that are going on and balancing the makerspace with research projects and free reading? And I can tell it's all going on. I just don't know how you're doing it all.
So I pulled this page because you said that, and I think there's two things happening. I think that I get really excited about makerspace stuff and I post more about it. We had research all day today and I posted 2 pictures and I had to force myself to post those 2 pictures because, I'm tired of it. So if you can see here, can y'all see that pretty well?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is last year's an infographic on last year, and like you can see, makerspace instruction was 13% of my time. 71% of it was research at the high school and instruction, other kinds of instruction, and then I only had like 16% for book talks and checkout. So in the high school, like teachers don't come very often to get books. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. And then this was just. Oh yeah, like I'm almost like I'm ready to go to elementary or middle school because like I want to see kids who love reading again. Like high school kids are just.
That's why I don't want to go back to high school.
Oh yeah, they're kind of depressing. They don't read.
That's my life, you guys.
What?
That's my life. I'm a high school librarian.
Oh yeah, they do not. They do not read. So this is based on what kids said, why kids said they came to the library. And you can see that most of them came for lunch and a lot of them came for computers. We do not have computers at my campus. Like kids don't have iPads. They don't have Chromebooks in the classroom. Like we don't have much at all. Yeah. So they come to the library all the time. And then this was just me planning with teachers. But I think this is a really good post that kind of describes what I call the tapestry. Actually, I think Joyce Valenza called it that. But you can see my ancient books here, right? We still use these really old encyclopedias because the teachers want to use them. Like I can't talk them out of it. So what I did last year was that I would have, so I did have 130% increase in circulation last year. It's actually gone down a little bit this year. And we have, like I said, we have a weird population changing too in our school right now. I lost my train of thought. Let me look back at my screen again. What was I trying to tell you? So I did, every time I didn't have research scheduled, I would have a makerspace activity at lunch last year. And I am not doing that this year because I can't keep up that pace. So, like I said, I'm a crazy woman. You guys saw, what you see on Instagram is me working too hard. So I don't know that I wouldn't say that I'm successful at balancing all those things all the time.
So
I think we all struggle for that.
I'm curious about one thing. The work that we've done has not been in a high school yet, but our goal is to make sure that people don't see the makerspace as the only place to do this kind of work. Our goal is to kind of infect the school, and in particular, the general education teachers. And so far, we've been lucky because the school that we've actually been most successful in doesn't even have an instructional technology specialist. The library media specialist does a lot of that work, but he never leaves the library. And so the opportunity, and he's also it's structured so that he's a specialist and the teachers don't come in when he's with the kids. So the opportunity to actually influence their practice is a little compromised. And so I'm just kind of...
I think that's really way easier to do in middle school. So it's just so much easier in middle school because there's not that many teachers. I have 200 teachers at my school, so I don't think I'll ever be able to infect the entire population of my school.
But is that one of your goals? Is that one of your goals, though, to...
My goal right now is to get more teachers in and use the maker activities as classroom, to drive classroom instruction. I don't feel like it's a goal I'm ever going to make. Like I don't feel like it's going to happen. But it is something I've been working on, and right now I'm trying to infect the English department.
Yep.
And because they're the ones who come in the most, and they're kind of the easiest to work with me. So I actually have spent more time teaching makerspace activities to our high school 101 classes. So those are they're like study skills classes.
Yep.
And I do have students that come and learn stuff in that, then start to use that in their classroom. So I think if we really want to see teachers changing, it's going to probably be 5 years, because the kids will use it, and then the kids will use it, and then maybe 1 or 2 teachers will start to use it, and then it'll start to go. But I think without devices, like if our campuses stay this without the devices, it's not going to happen. Like it's going to be harder. But I did have a teacher tell me the other day that she wants to have a makerspace in her classroom. And I was like, oh, that's good. Like I would like to see that too.
So have you tried any of the approaches that are available through the novel engineering work out of Tufts?
No.
So they got an NSF grant, and their website is novelengineering.org. And quite literally, all it is taking a text, doing a close read of the text, sussing out the problems, identifying something in that mix of problems that can be addressed through engineering, and then engaging in an engineering project that deals with that problem.
Oh, yeah, my friend Dan Ryder, I think, is doing work like that. And I've been trying to talk some teachers into doing things like that. We've kind of been approaching everything, trying to do design thinking, where we identify a problem in our own community and try to solve that problem. And that's what we've been working on a lot with one English teacher. But it's hard when the mindset isn't already built in to get them to take that type of project and actually make something. They're still kind of stuck on ideas. Like, oh, here's an idea I want to do, but they don't know how to take that idea and make it a reality. So.
Right. That's why I like the novel engineering, because I haven't met too many teachers who weren't in an absolute panic about the close read of the text ideas that were coming out of the Common Core. And this gave them a path in that might engage students more in going back into the text to find evidence.
Yeah.
So can you share whatever that the text that you're referring to?
Just talking about that right there.
Thank you.
Yep, that's
Let
it.
me find Dan, because Dan is like,
I love Dan.
You know Dan Ryder?
Yes.
Yeah, he is doing that. I mean, that guy, he makes me want to have my own English classroom again.
He's awesome. He is awesome. I'm glad you brought up the English Teacher Challenge, though. So when I first installed my 3D printer, which was the beginning of my makerspace, I had a few English teachers that would shut it off.
Oh,
it would be printing something out because, they said it was too loud.
Yeah.
So, changing the culture, it's really challenging. Especially, I think, in the high school setting.
Oh, yeah. And high school teachers have been there a long time, and they are the experts of their field, so they don't want to change. Yeah. I agree. It's really difficult. That's why I said, first the students, then the teachers.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe first the students, then the admin, then the teachers.
I wanted to edit.
What'd you say, Laura?
Involved.
Oh.
Students involved in planning and deciding on purchases.
So, I have a student advisory board. It's really small. It's only a couple kids. But last year I didn't even have that. Basically, last year we just made stuff, and then whatever we had supplies for. And there was a time where they wanted to do a soldering workshop, so I had the public library come and they brought soldering materials, and then the kids loved that so much they wanted to keep soldering. And I was like, okay, how are we going to keep soldering? So I actually wrote a donor's choose for soldering materials and asked the kids, what do you want? And I picked 4 kits for them to choose from that they would want to solder together, and then they chose the hardest one. And I wrote about this in the book with Diana and Aaron that we just finished. So it's great to have student choice, but there is still some times where we have to stop as adults and go, okay, this isn't doable. Because what ended up happening is they all wanted to make FM radios. You have a phone. Why do you need an FM radio? But they wanted to solder together FM radios. So I bought these kits. They weren't that expensive. But it took us 3 weeks of 2 hours after school to finish those FM radios. So I was like, next time I'm not going to let them totally choose, because it was too much. You know what I'm saying? I should have been the adult and gone, okay, this is too hard, or you're going to have to take it home. And actually that's what happened is some of them stayed and we kept doing the workshops after school. And then at one point I was like, okay, now you guys just have to finish. So they just came in and finished on their own. So that's probably some of the stuff you'd see. I would always take a picture. Oh, look, Joseph came back to finish his radio, and I take a picture of him, like, soldering. So they come up with ideas, and I have, like, a kid right now who wants to start his own club. He's got a really great idea, but he keeps, like, going so far with the idea that it's like, okay, we got to rein it in because it can't just be me and you after school. So what do you want to do? He wants to do, like, a monthly themed club. So they have to make something based on a theme each month. That sounds great, right? But then he wants to add, like, and then they're going to play a game associated with the theme, and then they're going to do this other thing and this other thing, and he just keeps adding stuff. It's like, no, the first part was good. Let's, like, stay right there. So I love them. They have great ideas, but sometimes they go too far. Oh, so the other club that the Student Advisory Council, they help me with other things too. Like, I've been asking them, like, how do I get more kids in to read? And it's really hard to kind of figure those things out. Did you guys have other stuff you made you wanted to show me? I thought you guys had some things you were going to show me.
I'm unprepared. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
And I think we lost Laura.
Oh, yeah. Well, she has young children, so she has a good excuse.
I do too. I hear mine like yelling in the bath right now.
So
I didn't leave him in there. My husband's in there with him.
Are you doing anything fun and exciting for Hour of Code?
It's Dead Week at the high school, so
cool.
It's really hard to get anyone to come do anything right now.
Huh.
So that's why I taught all my freshmen Scratch like a month ago. So I was like, I'm trying to get some classes in to do the makey paper circuit for Hour of Code, but I haven't had any takers yet. So, because like next week is finals.
Could you talk a little bit, Colleen, about organization of all your materials, to ask a somewhat boring but practical question?
Sure. I actually just redid. Where did I keep that amazing post about the storage? I saw the Children's Lighthouse, I think, and they're a group that partners a lot with the Tinkering Studio. I figured out recently. Here it is. All right, let me share my screen with you guys again. Okay, so I have actually moved this too. I'm about to make a video of what the library looks like as one big space, because after those people came, I have people who ask to come all the time, and I can't let people come all the time, for various reasons. But so we have all these clear storage bins. I actually moved this to one of our classroom areas. So now if the class is in there making stuff, like I have classes that come and make Sphero obstacle courses, and this would be great to have all the stuff by them. So now there's a classroom spot with all these nice clear bins, and they're very clearly labeled. And my ITS actually decided that she would label everything with a certain type font. So all the prototyping materials have this type of type font, all the electronics have this type font, and then all the supplies we actually have to fix, because our supplies and tools we're going to make one type font. And then all our craft materials, that type font. So they're all on a specific shelf, and we're making posters, and I feel like storage is one of those constant works of art, that you're always trying to figure out the best way. But like last year, I put all these magazines in this bin, and immediately a kid got it out and started using it. So I think it's really helpful. The little bits I keep in this huge cabinet, and it's nice because I can lock them up and they're closed. I got the idea for my husband to keep the power bit at the surf desk, only because I had little bits were starting to walk off. I wish I could keep my Spheros more more visible because they're also like in these kind of toolboxes behind the desk so that, that they're safe. And then this is one of those, I actually have, so this is my project shelf from Lamar. Is this like really obnoxious, me scrolling on my screen? So I actually have all this space now as a project shelf at Ryan, so that if a whole class is doing something, I have all that space. And I really have a gigantic library. Like, it's huge.
It's a good system, it seems like. How does cleanup work?
How does cleaning up?
Yeah. Do you leave, are bins accessible, or do you pull them out as classes come in?
So when we did that before, we pulled them out. And basically the kids would put the stuff back, and then I would put those bins back on the shelf. But now those bins are at the classroom spot. So when I have that video, I'll try to make sure to tag you. It'll be more obvious. But there is a classroom, and the shelves are literally like right there. So they can put them back. So right now they pull them out and use them and put them back. And the kids mostly use our like weird prototyping stuff. They don't really grab electronics freely and start making with electronics on their own. That's usually always driven by some kind of workshop or something that's happened. So like, I think there was a point last year where I was doing Makey poetry with the teacher, and then I had my circuit girls after school, and one of them was coming in and sewing during lunch. So I had a kid sewing circuits at lunch. I had a coding club kid coming at lunch. I had all kinds of they're coming from things. One of those things that Laura saw was like, how are you doing all this? Well, they're just all coming on their own to really spend time in the library working on what they want to. I'm not seeing that as much this year as I did last year, though. I'm not seeing like the total like immersion of coming after school and during lunch. But like I said, our whole population changed. We had 2,500 students last year, and they rezoned, and we have 2,100 students this year, and they're not even the same kids. So it's like starting over.
What do you think is next for your makerspace? Like, what are you thinking of? What are you excited about?
I don't know. I think that writing books in my free time is like taking over my life, and I can't even like think of the amazing things I want to do. I really want more of my students doing more makey stuff and more scratch stuff. So I'll probably be bugging my high school 101 teachers to come in and do even more things. Like I was going to do one of my projects from our new book with our kids. But I realized like I really need to start smaller, like they have to start smaller with scratch in it. So I might be doing the paper circuit one, but I also want to try doing the game design challenge again with the high school and see if they are going to be as inventive as the middle school kids. Like they usually aren't at the same. Like they don't think the same. They wouldn't do as weird of a thing, as middle school kids. So I don't know. High school is really tough to keep them interested like for over a long period of time. Right now, I'm really kind of pulling back from the electronics, even though I really want to use them all the time. And I'm trying to do more like crafty things. Like we made knitting needles last week, and we're teaching kids to knit because kids like doing that kind of stuff, and we got to do what they like to do. So. I'm like, I think I am so far in electronics at this point that like I know too much. I need to I have to come back down, to where they are.
Do you make a lot at home, like with your husband and your kid, and like is that a part of your home life too?
Oh yeah, that's all we do at home. Like we make stuff all the time. Like we spend all of Thanksgiving making stuff. We'll spend the whole Christmas break making stuff. Erin and I have our projects for our book we're working on, but then what'll happen is she'll have her own projects. And that's really why I think I get sort of inspired that I kind of want to go down to elementary, because she'll do the most amazing thing. Mom, I made a bird feeder, out of a cardboard tube and a strawberry basket. And you don't see high school kids doing stuff like that, So I don't know. I really like that young age where they're very experimental and they're very sure of their ideas. You know, they're like, I'm going to do this. You know, they get really excited about it. So, but yeah, so we make stuff all the time. Like, so I made this like cootie catcher. You know, those fortune teller cootie catcher things. Hang on. Well, I had like a stack of 20 of them. I put them up in this storage container. But my 7-year-old has like made 20 cootie catchers since then. Now she wants to make one for her teacher for Christmas. She's like, should I make him a cootie catcher bomb? I was like, okay, go ahead.
I've never heard that term used before, but I know.
Here, I'll find it.
I bet you have.
Oh, yeah.
I remember making them when I was a kid.
Here's a stack of them.
I don't know what we called them. I have to think about that.
Fortune teller. They're also called fortune tellers.
That's what,
Yeah, I've never heard it called a cootie catcher either.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, Google it. That's what it's called.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they're my guinea pigs sometimes, but yeah, it's kind of like we parallel play at my house. That's supposed to be a joke. You know, I'm making over here, Aaron's making over there, and Vally's making over here. And like Vally got we got the Kano computer for her, and so that's the only like technology device we let her use. Like we don't let her sit around and stare at iPads and stuff like that. So she can build things in Minecraft on that and kind of she writes stories and things. But it's, you know, and she'll make games in Scratch. She makes stories in Scratch, really. So, yeah. So we kind of all just sit around and make stuff, but it's not always tangible stuff.
Colleen, have you invited other teachers into your makerspace for PD?
I mostly travel and do that.
Okay.
I don't usually have them come to my space for professional development. I had my teachers come in for professional development when I first started. And then this year, my staff didn't do any summer training thing at all, so I didn't do that. And then I have done, like, training for other librarians in the district. But most of the time, I just go, like, people invite me and I go to their school and do it, or to their district. Do y'all want to ask anything else?
This has been really great. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Much.
Are you doing anything with the Raspberry Pis?
So I'm not into Raspberry Pi. I tried to get into Pi Academy so I could like learn more about it and try to be into it. And then Aaron got in. So Aaron's going to Pi Academy tomorrow. Cool. But I mean, I know how to use them, but I'm just not. I don't know. I don't. I'm not there. Like I'm into Arduino, and I think that I tried once I got into Arduino, and I tried to get into Raspberry Pi, and I was not. Like I just didn't. I didn't really see what to do, and so I started learning Python this summer, but I still I don't know. It's not clicking with me engagement wise. We use the. Again, this was in an elementary school, but we used the Raspberry Pi. We packed it into a lunchbox with all the cables so kids could check it out from the library. Cool. And we used that as a vehicle to, the kids liked it because it had Scratch baked on it, and they just wanted to do Scratch. Well, that computer that Valley has is a Raspberry Pi. Here. Oh, okay. What am I doing? I can carry you guys over there. It's just like this Kano. If you haven't seen these, they're really cool. It comes with its own little keyboard. Oh, yeah. And it's Raspberry Pi preloaded with their Kano OS. So like I said, it's like a coding Minecraft, so it's different than normal Minecraft somehow. Uh-huh. I don't play Minecraft either, so I'm kind of like, I'm on the outs on that one too. But that's all it is it has Sonic Pi, so they can do that. I'll type how you spell that for you guys. And you can actually download it on any Raspberry Pi. Yeah. You don't have to buy their Kano system, but that was like $100. So it was worth it because it had the speaker and the keyboard and the HDMI cable.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And we found that it was, the kids got pretty excited. And there's a school in Andover here that's, I think it's a middle school, and they're launching Raspberry Pi there as well. They're having kids set it up. And they didn't have a lot of resources to buy tech for the space, so they're going that path instead.
Yeah,
and they're
I was going to see if, I was going to see if she had one of her Scratch games open, but she doesn't. Because, I've been really impressed with how she just, like, writes these funny little stories, and she made, like, one where a cat has to chase a butterfly. And just, her imagination is amazing. Kids are amazing.
How old is she?
She's 7. She's in 2nd grade.
Okay.
She's doing coding with Dash and Dot this week for Hour of Code at her school. So they borrowed our robots, and she came home and goes, "Can I use Blockly at home?" I was like, "Of course." So it's funny to me that, like, all the stuff we like push on her all the time, she doesn't ever want to do it, and she finally goes and does it at school. It's just like, okay, now I want to program Dash.
Colleen, since we are recording this, do you have any advice for teachers and librarians who are somewhat intimidated by the whole makerspace movement?
I always say, go with the thing that you like. If you like knitting and sewing, start there, right? Because you have to start small and then build. You can't just, like, come in and do a whole overhaul. I mean, you can, but if you're intimidated, don't do that, I think, like I said, I'm not that into Raspberry Pi, so I haven't bought, like, 20 of them and used them in my library because it's not something I'm that into. But I will learn it if my kids want to learn it. So, like, I got the MakeCUE Makeys, and I learned those alongside my kids. It's just that now I've learned so much, and the kids keep graduating, and I keep going. So I don't think you should be afraid of it, and that's especially something like coding. I think it sounds scary, but I think a lot of people are finally starting to realize that things like Scratch make it very accessible for everybody. When I had my high school 101 kids come in and learn how to use Scratch, the coaches sat down and made games too, and they were like, "This is addictive. I want to make more of these." So that's been really, really fun to see the adults kind of get excited about things too that they didn't know they'd be excited about. I think that that's probably the best advice. Is like, my first paper circuit was such a fail. Like, I did so bad. I did not understand it. I did not get why it didn't work, and I was just like, "This is stupid. Like, paper circuits are dumb," So, and then, and now I love paper circuits. You just saw, like, I'm like building a programmable paper circuit now. Like, now I totally get it, and it's. I mean, look at how great this probably looks totally crazy to you guys. And I made my own battery holder. Like, I hate 3D printing, and I made my own, my own battery holder. So you can be scared of things and then end up liking it. I still don't like 3D printing, but I love my battery holder.
Unless there are other questions, we're pretty much, it's been a full hour.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is really enjoyable and informative.
Yeah. Thank you.
So glad we can share it with others who might have missed it tonight.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for recording, Sue.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I hope I got it. My apologies now if it messed up.
That's okay.
Would not be the first time that one of us.
I did a webinar right after the election with Colorado State Libraries, and they lost the whole recording. And it was the best webinar I think I've ever done. I was like, it was so interactive, and it was so amazing, and like, it was such a great thing to focus on, like, besides the other things. And they were like, "Oh, we lost it." I was like, "Okay." Bye, webinar, so. It happens.
Yep.
I don't know how many people really sit around and watch hour-long webinars when they're not in it either. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes if it's a topic that you're really interested in, and you just don't have the time or energy after a long work day. Yeah, it's good to have that option for sure. So
for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
And everybody.
Yeah, and if you guys make more stuff, just use the hashtag BigMakerBook, and I'll see it, and I'll retweet it. And eventually, I'm going to add them to my page, but I want to get like a lot before I start adding them on there. So.
Great reminder. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
All right, everybody.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
See you in March.
Bye. Yeah, see you in March. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.